All right, what is up, guys? This is Breakfast with the Brand, the number one podcast in the world for entrepreneurs and leaders who want to build industry leading brands. I am your host, Junior Frederick, and I have with me, as usual, Mr. Bobby Stealth. And we have a phenomenal show for you today. Guys, so if you're tuned in live, I want you to do two things. Number one, put some flames in the chat. Let us know what the energy is like on this phenomenal Saturday morning. And number two, let us know where you're listening in from. Bobby, how you doing?
Great, Junior. I'm absolutely phenomenal. Energy. Energy is something that's on my mind today. I know that we would open up the branded like a leader calls all those years ago. Seems like ages ago, but it was only 3 years ago, right? And you guys would ask, what's the energy in the room? And we put tens. Some people will put eights. Some people will put sixes. And then anytime we saw like a 6.5, a 7.5, or an eight, we'd be like, okay, what does it take to get to a 10? What does it take to get to a 10? So that's how I feel this morning, just really energetic, a bit nostalgic, just reminiscing on the growth and the process and progress that I've made and that I know other people that's been watching this program have made over the years.
100%. Man, I mean, speaking of energy, I mean, energy is everything. And I think we're gonna get into the topic of sales today, and it'll be interesting to explore, the relationship between sales and energy. There's a huge relationship between sales and energy. It's dare I say multi-dimensional. It's a multi-dimensional relationship between sales and energy. But before we get into that, I do want to send a quick shout out. I see Tia. So Tia is coming from New Jersey. Shout out to Tia Rogers. Then we have, of course, the lady herself, Mr. In fact, Miss. We have so many guys on here. I said Mr. So Miss Michelle D. Clark, Dr. Michelle D. Clark. So super sensational Saturday from Detroit. Shout out to Dr. Michelle. Dr. Michelle, you need to let us know, let the people know when you're having your next event. I think Dr. Michelle is already preparing for that. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think Dr. Michelle might already be preparing for that next event. And guys, if you missed the last one, then trust me, you missed a treat. You definitely missed a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bobby, but the energy of the day is absolutely phenomenal. As you guys know, I'm in the lovely island of St. Lucia. Bobby, I'm gonna start doing a little bit more shows outside, man. What do you think of that? Put it in the chat, guys. So the reason I ask this is because sometimes I'll do the show outside, and I see people will text me like, "You're making me jealous," stuff like that. My thing is not to make anybody jealous. That's not my thing. Um, I just want to show you guys some of the islands. So let me know if you would enjoy, that kind of thing. Maybe I could take you somewhere. Maybe one of the sites. Sometimes I do go to um, a couple of the sites we have. Like I was in the so in St. Lucia, we have this drive-in volcano.
Hmm.
So volcanoes, explosion, like we have one where you can drive in, and there are actually like sulfur baths right there. Now, rumor has it that back in the day, Bobby, I don't know if you know this, but my country, we went through several wars back in the day. In
Hmm.
fact, 14 wars were fought over my country. The British won 7 times, the French won 7 times. And eventually, we became a sort of mixture between British and French. So my country has two languages. We speak two native languages. But the reason I bring that up is during the wars, the soldiers, they used to go to these mineral baths to rejuvenate and to heal themselves. It's said that the baths themselves have this ancient mystical healing properties, and
Really?
it works for several different things. So a lot of tourists actually go there. They're always, when I went there, there's a ton of tourists the last time I went there. They're coming in every single minute. So guys, I could take you to places like that, but you have to let me know if you want that stuff. All right, I'll give you a little tour. But that's enough of that. I see Dr. Michelle says yes, show outside. Goals, yes, definitely goals. Also, put it in the chat if you'd love to have us host an event, maybe somewhere on the island. Just put a number one. If we did an event on the island, if the Sean Rice brand did an event on the island, Would you come? Just put a number one if you would come. If you would come, just put a number one.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I see a couple number ones. Definitely. So we'll consider that. We will definitely consider that. If I know Sean has already considered that.
Yeah.
So it's already in the works.
Uh, that's super exciting. It's super exciting. You know, when I think about all the different places I saw and just the different people and cultures, because I was fortunate enough to go to the military where I traveled on the Marine Corps dime. So I went to Chile and Peru and Colombia and Cuba and various other countries, Iraq and Kuwait, Germany, Spain, and I'm just meeting all of these different people and all these different cultures. And I think that that also improves the individual's humanity. I will say it that way because you get to see different people engaging in life in a different way, and everybody is seeking to live their best life. And when you realize that best and better is different for different people, I think you also start to realize that you are very you're very we are very individual. And I just wanted to say that piece because as we get into sales, we're going to be talking about the salesperson, and we're going to be talking about who you have to be and the energy that you have to have. And me being in the military and speaking multiple languages, I've been able to speak in Portuguese, Spanish, my French, and I spoke some Arabic, some Chinese, and I've been able to speak in the native language with several people, a part of my job and partly because of my travels. So I think that that'd be super exciting.
100%. Guys, we'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned. This is Breakfast with a Brand. Let's grow.
There's slow growth and then there's scale. There's incremental growth and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a zero to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 plus 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 plus 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 plus 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 plus 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a 0 to you, you can add a 0 to the marketplace. You can add a 0 to the value that you bring. So you can add a 0 to your family, add a 0 to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental, we're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a 0. Add a 0 to your competence, add a 0 to your confidence. This is about adding a 0 in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow. Confidence is key. Most of the people I work with, they have the education, the experience, and the expertise. We call those the 3 E's. But they're looking for the 3 I's, the income, the impact, and the independence. And I always tell them that the bridge between the 3 E's and the 3 I's is marrying your confidence to your competence. Most of the people I work with, again, have all of the competence in the world. What I help them do is get the confidence.
All right, guys. So we are back, and I believe, Bobby, we're about to get into the high ticket sales, if I'm correct.
100%. 100%. Because what I've noticed is a lot of people are trying to build their businesses and they're coming from corporate or they're coming from doctorate backgrounds and things of that nature. So they've got a certain lifestyle that they're trying to maintain as they make the transition. So what that means is they're not really going to be able to maintain their standard of living with low sales. Like if they're not making high ticket, high end luxury deals, transitioning from a corporate job where you're doing 6 figures, multiple 6 figures after taxes, like if you're in a business, 6 figures might just be in taxes, let alone what you bring home to actually maintain your standard of living. So I think this is a really great topic to talk about, because if you are highly educated, which our audience is, experienced, and have a specific expertise that demands a lot of economic value in the marketplace, then you're going to want to be able to sell your services high ticket when you go direct to consumer. So one of the things that I've noticed is that you got to be the person when it comes to high ticket sales. Like, if you have any ounce of doubt in your speech or in your tone, or you come off as not believing in yourself or lacking confidence, it's like high ticket is out the window for you. It's just out the window, because these affluent buyers and these other business owners, they're not purchasing in the same way as a consumer purchases. A consumer is purchasing for instant gratification, and they're spending an amount of money that they're not going to miss. Now, someone that's doing high ticket sales, they're making an investment and they're looking for an ROI. So if they feel like you are a risk to their investment, then they're going to go somewhere else. So what I'd like us to talk about a bit about, at least as we open this up, Junior, is how does a sales professional build? And by the way, all entrepreneurs are sales professionals. All of us are selling something, right? But how does the entrepreneur or business owner develop the character and confidence they need to go out there and say a 5-figure number and stare the prospect in the eyes?
Well, one of my mentors said to me some time ago that don't try to do the activity, aim to become the person. So sales shouldn't be something that you do. It should be someone that you are. High ticket sales shouldn't be something that you do. It should be something or someone that you are. And what that means is that it should be part of your identity. When you ask a high ticket closer if they sell high ticket, they tell you, no, I'm just selling. So I'll put it this way. There's a difference between coaching and being a coach. It's a difference between selling and being a salesperson. There's a difference between speaking and being a speaker. Somebody who's not a speaker can perform the activity of speaking, but somebody who is a speaker, who identifies as a speaker, cannot help but to perform the activity of speaking. Now, when you look at high ticket sales, it literally just has to be somebody that you are. And when we talk about energy, in the Caribbean, we say vibes. Okay, so energy for us is vibes. So either you have good vibes or you have bad vibes, right? Now, when you want a discussion with somebody could feel your vibe. So it's not only about what you say, right? It's also about the things that are not said. And energetically, people could feel if you really and truly, like literally believe in what you're saying. So if you come on a call and you tell somebody this thing is worth, let's say 20K, they can read your energy and they could tell, I don't know, man, like something's just off about this.
Yeah.
And you hear prospects say like, I don't know what it is. I need to think about it or whatever, right? It's just because something is just off. And it's not necessarily that you said the wrong thing. It's just that you had the wrong vibes. Like I said, Bobby, you have to actually believe. So what I'm saying here in a very simple sense is that it's all about conviction. It's about the transfer of conviction. And if you're 100% convicted in what you're selling, it's literally like going downstairs, going to the fridge, opening up the fridge and picking up a glass of water. That's it. And if it's not like that for you, then it means that there's some chink in your identity that is preventing you from saying those high prices.
And that, Junior, is something that a funnel can't fix, you know? Like, it can help. Like, if you get a funnel and you don't have to engage with the person, then sure. They never meet you. And as long as your product is properly copywritten and well positioned in the marketplace and you have some kind of brand, then maybe you can make a few sales just through a funnel. But the reality is, if you're trying to spend or you're looking to do business with someone that is spending significant amounts of money, they want to talk to someone. And the someone that they talk to is likely going to be you, if you are at that development and building business stage. And a lot of people are at that stage, even if they're making seven figures. I know many CEOs that have seven-figure businesses and they are still selling their product just at a very high level. And they still have sales professionals under them. So what do I say that for? I say that to say you can't get away from becoming the person. And that's something that is unavoidable. So another thing that I wanted to share was my experience yesterday. So many of you all know about Mr. Bannister, the person that broke the 4 minute barrier or something like that. So nobody, what was his name?
It's called the 4 minute mile. He
Yeah,
broke the 4 minute mile. Yeah.
the 4 minute mile. So when he broke that, everybody was breaking it. They were like, wow, we can do this now. So yesterday I was talking to Junior and I was like, hey, Junior, I got a deal closed here. I'm signing some stuff over. I need some assistance setting up some things on the back end. He was like, all right, no problem at all. Give me a call. Gave Junior a call. We talked through some things and I closed 3 more deals that day. And I got the contracts, did the signing, did everything. And it was a Bannister moment. It was an identity moment. And they all came from cold calls. Like you don't know what it's like to close a prospect from a phone and they've never met you. That's even different from setting a DC because there was no qualifying really. It was just they were on a list, you called them. All of these individuals were on a list, cold called, and closed in less than 20 minutes. Now, how did that happen? How did that happen? Junior said, hey, your first one, man. There you go. Good job. Wait, get after it. This is how you do it. And then I said, I took that confidence, I took that conviction, and I took it to the next call. And boom, before I knew it, the next person did it. I got on another call, and boom, a third person did it. And I sent my screenshots up to management, and they were like, looks like you got yourself a system going here. And the system was me. Self-belief. It was just like, okay, it's doable. And I took that conviction and I conveyed that conviction over the phone with enthusiasm and authenticity, and people were signing contracts. So it is really just that simple. Sometimes it's just a shift in frequency. And when you get the first one, the next one is a little bit easier, and the next one is a little bit easier. So, Junior, have you ever found yourself hit a run? Like you close a deal and then you get the juices going, and then everybody else that gets on the phone are just closed from that
Oh
energy?
yeah. Oh yeah, man, definitely. In fact, I I experienced that my first weekend in closing. So I started closing on a I think it was a Friday. That was a couple years, maybe I don't know, a couple years ago. And when the first person said yes, I said, okay, I have something going here. Second person said yes. I said, all right. The third person said yes. I said, okay. Then I'm like, okay, where's the next one? So I'm like, okay, where's the next person? And then fourth person said yes. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, I like, okay, I'm doing something here. So yes, Bobby, I've absolutely experienced that. And what I can tell you about those kinds of moments, it becomes a moment where you're sort of you've cracked the matrix, so to speak. It feels like you've cracked the matrix. It feels like you've you sort of exist outside of the world, and you could see all of the lines in the matrix, and you're just chilling like what's his name, Morpheus. And
Yeah.
you could come in, you could enter the matrix, and then you could just come out when you feel like, and you could chill, and then you could put on your glasses, enter the matrix again. That's what it sort of feels like.
Yeah.
If you guys have had that moment. But yeah, man, I've absolutely experienced that, and I think that comes from just conviction.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing, Bobby, is that the next one is easier than the first one,
Yeah.
and then the next one after that is like you're not even trying, right?
Right.
So it's
You
it's an
know.
interesting thing. It's an interesting thing.
And one thing that I wrote down yesterday, Junior, is it's simple, guys. It's super simple. But we're talking about high ticket sales, by the way. Just so you guys are aware. Like if you're trying to close big deals, just become the person. So one of the parts of becoming the person is absolute conviction, faith, and confidence in yourself and your product. So that's what we're kind of talking about right now. And when you have that degree of faith, confidence, and undoubtedness, you speak confidently, energetically, and enthusiastically, and that is felt. So that's the piece that we're covering right now. So one of the things that I wrote down for my desk, and I'm putting it everywhere today, actually, because I'm testing it out, Junior. It happened yesterday, so I'm like, maybe I can do it again. And then I'm like, okay, if I'm closing 3 of these a day and I can do this for 5 days straight, okay, I may have something going here. So one of the things that I wrote down is smile. Smile. So one of the things that I noticed about myself is when you are being rejected, and I'm talking to me, like when Bobby is being rejected time again and time again and time again, which is very common in sales, you start to smile less. You start to get on the line. You're waiting for it to ring. You're anticipating the objections, or you're anticipating the click. This phone has been disconnected. The number that you have reached, and you're just like, oh. It's like, of course, and now you just got this negative energy about you. And when someone actually does pick up the phone, you're like trying to get your face right so you can actually say something that sounds appealing. So what I've done and what I've learned is smile through everything. So that's what I did yesterday. Like as I was putting in notes, this number does not work. And I was like, oh, look at him. I tell you something. And then I dialed the next number and I heard it ring and it said, click, this number is disconnected. I'm like, oh man, another one. I tell you something. And then I just kept smiling through the entire, intentionally. Like I felt my face muscles getting heavy. I'm like, oh my gosh, my face hurts. But the moment that that prospect answered the phone, I was enthusiastic, motivated, hitting them with all the energy that I possibly could conjure, and then bow, it came off like a water hose, almost like a firefighter. It was like boom, they just got hit with all of this enthusiasm. And I wanted to share that with you because I have found that when I smile through the adversity and through like the missed calls, it's like a rubber band and it keeps pulling back. And the more I'm smiling through the rejection, it's like somebody's about to get it. So it's like the pressure is building up. And what I noticed was that when people pick up the phone and they say hello and I say, how you doing? Prospect name, this is Bobby Jackson, and I'm so excited to speak with you this morning. Like it's shock and awe. They're like, what? How is this person so excited? Like, why is this person calling me with all of this energy? So I just wanted to share that with you as I turn it back over to Junior to see what his take is on staying enthusiastic through the rejections, because you could be on calls, you could be texting DMs, but it's like after a while and you get like miss after miss after miss, it starts to drain the energy. So what do you do, Junior, when you're, going miss after miss and you're just waiting for that one? Because statistically, every no gets you closer to the yes.
Definitely, Bobby. And I have spoken about this at length some time ago, but what I do is called weeding the garden of the mind. So weeding the garden of the mind, I want to paint a picture for everybody looking. So I want you to picture a garden. So imagine just a garden, maybe a lawn. So if you live in an area and you have like a nice little lawn in the front or the back of your house, just picture your lawn for a minute. Now, I'm going to assume that you take care of your lawn, right? Because you have to. But as well as I do, if you're looking to grow like grass, like get a nice hedge and get some grass on there, it takes a little effort. Like even with me, Bobby, I was doing something at the back of the house where I cleared a space and I planted some grass, like the grass that I wanted to grow there to develop a lawn. And the thing, it's still growing. It took a long time and it's still growing. It's almost like if you look at it, it looks like it has a lot of bald patches, but it's like growing slowly over time.
Yeah.
But check this out though. The weeds grow very fast. So in your lawn, weeds grow without your help. They don't need your help. They don't need your water. They don't even need sunlight. They just need to be there and
Yeah.
they're gonna grow, right? They just need to be there and they're gonna grow. They don't need encouragement. They don't need a motivational talk. They don't need water. They don't need your assistance. They're gonna grow. And it's the same thing for the weeds in your mind. When a prospect tells you no, you're like, okay, that's okay. When another one tells you no, you're like, Then another one tells you no. You're like, maybe they're onto something. They say, oh, your product is too expensive. I'm not so sure. When 5 people tell you your product is too expensive, you start to think like, hold on, maybe these people are onto something. Maybe it is too expensive. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe it's not them. Maybe it's me. And what starts to happen is that little weed starts to grow in the garden of your mind. And you know as well as I do, the bad stuff grows faster than the good stuff. Now, I want you to imagine that you have 10 different objections. Number one, it's too expensive. Number two, I need to think about it. Number three, you're calling me too early. Number four, and you can go on and on and on and on. You could have like 10, 20 weeds, all from objections that you've gathered over the months, right? And
Mhm.
those things start to grow and germinate and proliferate faster than the good stuff. So, in order for you to maintain that good energy, maintain your good vibes, just maintain your state. It's about state management, Bobby. In order for you to maintain that state, you have to do what I call weeding the garden of your mind. And it's a very simple process, but you need specific things. You need to have a pencil. So, this is what I do. I take a pencil, I write down all of the self limiting beliefs that I have with a pencil. Then I will take a red ink pen. I will write, so I'll cross over the old self limiting belief and I will write over the self limiting belief in a red ink pen. And then I will erase over the red ink when I'm done. So what that does is it erases the limiting belief. And then when I, dust off my paper, what I see is the truth. So for example, prospect says the product is too expensive. No, the truth is expensive is subjective. What may be expensive to one person may not be expensive to the next person. If my product can produce 10 times whatever the prospect invests, then my product is not too expensive. In fact, it's not expensive enough. In fact, it's not expensive at all. That's the truth. So that's what I do. And if you want to go one step further, you could just, crumple that paper up and just burn it up and burn those objections up and watch them disappear. So that's sort of how I manage my state. But another good thing is, waking up, working out in the morning is excellent because when you work out, you get that pump, you have that energy, you're ready to go. But another thing I want to say, Bobby, is that sales is just like a marathon. You treat sales like an athlete would treat their discipline, whether that is, running on the track, whether that is, a long jump, whatever it is, swimming. It is literally like a sport. So when you're on your 20th call, okay, you're thinking to yourself like, man, am I number 100? No, you're not.
Mhm.
And it's just like a marathon, Bobby. You know as well as I do. Into the first mile, you start to wonder, why did I even register for this? Like, I could have been anywhere today. Why did I choose to come here today? But just like a marathon, if you decide to stick with it and you decide to cross that, what we call that threshold, where you're going and you're in state and you've made a decision and you've gone too far to ever turn back. And you know what I'm talking about, Bobby, when you're there, like you've decided, okay, I'm here, then magical things start to happen. And I think that's what you experience.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. When we come back from the break, I think it'll be good to dive deeper into the price piece and how the brand and the price really come from the person. Because I think, as you just mentioned, some people think price is real. They don't realize that it's just value and value perception. So I'm interested to lay that out for the people and show them how the brand that they develop and the person that they become determines the prices that they can charge.
In brand clarity, exactly what you're going to get is what it sounds like. Clarity for your brand. What is your color? What is your logo? What is your unique value proposition? Who are you speaking to? Why? How should you speak to them? How should I position myself? That's what you're going to learn in brand clarity. You need other people to have the same clarity on your brand that you do. But this is the gap. If you don't have clarity on your brand, then no one else is going to have clarity on your brand either. It's like messaging. Your message sounds clear to you, but is your end user receiving the value that you're trying to provide? I guarantee you that after you go through brand clarity, they will, and so will you. And that's how you'll scale your brand. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
All right, guys. So we are back. If you've enjoyed the show so far, go ahead and put some flames in the comments. I'm gonna read a couple comments. Let's take a couple comments, guys. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in. So I'll just read a few of these that I see. Tia says facts. Tia, tell us the facts. Which one are you referring to? We've said so many facts. Put it in the chat. Dr. Michelle says a funnel can't fix conviction. That is true. A funnel cannot fix conviction. Dr. Michelle says, okay, transfer of conviction.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we have the flames coming in.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, Bobby, let's get into it. I believe we're getting into the branding. Remind me, is it branding and sales?
Absolutely. Absolutely. How the brand influences the sale, or influences the price rather, and the sale. So one thing that I've noticed is that when you're trying to close a prospect, you should never, like, if you're trying to close them, you're already trying too hard. Like, if you have to try to close someone, then you're already trying too hard. So the brand is designed to create the power differential. It's designed to show the separation. It's designed to position you in the mind of the prospect as the expert in which you are. And then you've got the person, like the person that the brand represents. And if you are, let's say, Shaan Rais, you've got 3 master's degrees, you've got the bachelor's, you've got 2 doctoral programs, you're writing the dissertation, you've got 3 books published. Like, if that's you, that's your personal brand, then the price and the brand make all the sense in the world. Rather, the person and the brand make the prices that are charged make all the sense in the world. So the question is, if you want to sell high ticket, you've got to be high ticket. So if you're going to be high ticket, what can you do, or what have you done that requires people to invest to a certain degree with you? And that's the part that I think is going to be really excellent to talk about. So, like, to give an example, I've served 12 years in the United States Marine Corps. I got my education and background in finance and economics that was my concentration. And then I've grown businesses. I've owned them in 3 different states in the United States, and I've grown one of them by 400% revenue for 3 consecutive years. So if that's me as a person, and then I've got the brand, and if I say a number, they're like, okay, that makes sense. So Junior, in your experience, as you've built your own personal brand, you've been a part of the brand journey here with Shaan Rais and everything that the company's been building. What have you seen as we've increased prices? Because branded like a leader doesn't cost what it used to cost when I came in. The leadership leverage doesn't cost what it cost when I came in. So it's like every year the prices really double as the individual becomes more effective and more positioned in the marketplace as a leader.
Well, what I've seen is that, so I'll put it this way. The outside is a reflection of the inside. What you don't have on the inside, you're not gonna have on the outside. And what that means is that if you want to increase your price, you should increase your value. And I mean your intrinsic value. So what about you is valuable? So Bobby spoke about his experience, 12 years as a Marine. That's valuable. What about you is valuable? And the great thing is you could always increase that value by investing in yourself. So one thing Sean said some time ago is that he invested like I think a quarter of $1 million in himself through education and stuff like that. I'm sure the number has gone up at this point, but he invested in himself to put the value in himself. So if you're looking to increase your price, like the actual question should be, what about me is valuable? And if you cannot identify something, or if you don't like ethically feel, because there's a big ethical thing here too, right, Bobby? Because anybody can just charge a high price, but you have to feel in your soul, like in your being, you have to feel good in your conscience about charging high prices. And I think that's where a lot of people sort of have they're afraid to do that. That's fine. And it's okay to be real with yourself. Like, okay, maybe I cannot charge 50K at this point. Maybe what I can bring to the market is not worth 50K at this point. That's okay. Start where
Mm-hmm.
you are, but then increase your value by increasing your education, increasing your training, increasing your competency, increasing your results. And then once you do that and you feel confident in yourself that I can ethically charge more money, and if you could, bring more value, which is the key, you know, money should be a byproduct of value. That's what I believe. If you could really and truly bring more value, then raise your prices. And if not, then build value in yourself first.
Mm-hmm. Wow. You know, I remember something that Sean told me that made me some of my first dollars. So when things started out, I was trying to sell a product that I at a price that I could not ethically command from the marketplace. In other words, I was saying 10K, 20K with my chest, but I could only really deliver like 5K, maybe 6K. So saying that number with my chest still didn't create the conviction necessary for me to fulfill that. So what Sean told me is he said, Bobby, if you are a 5, sell to the 4s and to the 3s. If you're a 7, sell to the 6s and the 5s. And when you become a 10, you can sell to the 9s and the 8s and even the 7s. So what he was saying was pretty much that the person that you become is valuable enough to sell to someone that's seeking to get where you are. In other words, everybody has some value to them. You are the brand. The thing that you're trying to figure out is how to position who you are in the marketplace effectively to command the number that you're worth. And as you become more and more valuable and you become more and more convicted of your abilities and your mission, the more effective you will be at commanding higher prices and saying bigger numbers. So if that's you right now, if you're like, man, I'm not really doing the 5-figure numbers right now. Like I don't have a product that I can confidently say is worth 5 figures. Make a product that you can confidently say is worth 4 figures. Confident. And then deliver with all of your might. Over deliver, as Sean says, right? Over deliver. And what you'll find is that you can oftentimes ascend those very prospects into, or those clients at this point. Like if you close a deal that's 4 figures and you do a incredible job and they love the results, why wouldn't they go into your 5-figure program? Of course they would. And if you do the same thing, you shock and awe, you over deliver, why wouldn't they go into your multiple 5-figure program? In many cases, they do. And that's what we call the ascension model. So I really enjoy this topic because it's one that says it doesn't matter where you start, you're valuable. And the moment you learn how to package that value and present it to the marketplace, you start making money. So there's no cap on the amount of money you can make because there's no cap on the depth in which you can dig into your own personal story. So that's what I think about that side of the house. So as we're wrapping things up and we're going to the last end of the call, I'd like to know what some of you all in the comments are challenged with. Like what's the challenge? What's the thing that's stopping you from saying that big number? Is it not having the product? Because that's a thing. Some people are struggling to sell an idea, but ideas are some of the most effective things to sell. Like most people don't have the product before they start selling it. They have the idea, they sell the idea in the form of pre-sales, and then they go and purchase or build the product. So I'd love to hear what some of your challenges are, and then I'll turn it over to Junior. So when you were getting into high ticket sales for yourself, Junior, because I know you've sold in your own business, you've sold for other businesses, you are a closer and marketer through and through. So when you were doing your business, what was the most difficult part about saying high ticket numbers, or did you not have that issue at all? Were you able to just come out the gate and say, hey, this is what it costs, and you had no hurdles there?
Oh nah, man. I started just like everybody else. I definitely had hurdles. My first I would say my first quote unquote high ticket was like 6K. 6K is considered high. Anything over 5K is considered high ticket, by the way. I know now we do a lot, different kind of numbers, but I remember my first time, presenting something that was quote unquote high ticket. Bobby, when I said the number, I sort of, just held my breath. So I said the number, I held my breath, and I just looked at them, and they said okay, and I'm like, okay, all right, this is this is interesting. This actually works, right? And but no, man, I have experienced. Listen, guys, I have experienced all of the challenges that you're going through. I'm not any special, more special than you. I'm just a regular guy from an island somewhere in the middle of the sea who is working his way up and out. You know what I mean? So that's just who I am. Um, but I have experienced the same things. And for me, what has helped me is just confidence. Two things. So competence and confidence. One thing I do have is I have a very, very, I'll say motivated spirit when it comes to self-improvement. So I'm always improving myself. But another thing that I really had was conviction in what I was selling. So if you know what you're selling is good, then you don't have any problem selling it. But if you don't think what you're selling is good, then you can definitely have a problem selling it. So, like if you haven't really created the product, if you haven't taken time to do the back end work, the systems work, stuff like that, then you could run into an internal sort of dilemma. So I would say for me, because I sell with a conscience, right? I don't just sell stuff, I sell with a conscience. So for me, it's like if I know what I have is good, then I'm okay, saying what I need to say. But if I don't think what I'm selling is good, then I won't say it at all. And that's just who I am.
Yeah. I like what you said there, Junior. Selling with a conscience. That brought something to my mind yesterday. Because yesterday when I was on a roll, I was on a roll. Everybody that got on the call, I'm telling you, I I was a little bit crazy in the sense that I convinced myself that whoever picks up this phone is in desperate and dire need of what I have to offer. And it's my duty to ensure that they leave with what they came for. Like that was my mindset. Now, I want to point out though, I still kept my conscience. And I remember saying to an old lady, I don't think that, I didn't even say I don't think, I said to the individual, based on what you've shared with me so far, you would not qualify for one of our programs at this time, simply because we don't plan to put anyone under financial hardships. Our goal is to help you. So I can get in touch with you when things have settled down or recovered or so on and so forth. I said something like that. And the person thanked me. They said, here's my information. Call me back again on this date, and I would love to hear from you. By the way, I got a girlfriend here that I'm doing her hair. She's also in the salon business. Would you like telling her about what you do? Maybe she's a good prospect. I was like, what? This lady was literally at her place of business, her entrepreneurial endeavor, building herself back up. And as she was working on a client's hair, she knew the client was also a business owner and was like, hey, I put you on speakerphone. I might not be the best candidate at this time, but maybe she is. Could you give us some more information? And that, I think, is exactly how you build a career in sales or a business, which a sales career, in my opinion, is nothing more than a sustainable business, because every business is in the business of sales. Like if you run out of sales, you run out of business. Like it's over. There's no way to stay in business without sales. So in my mind, that's one of the best ways to build a sales career or to build a sustainable business is by being honest, selling with a conscience, qualifying and disqualifying with integrity and courtesy. You know, you don't have to be disrespectful or rude when you tell someone they can't afford your services. You can be very forward with them to the point where it says we're not a good fit now, but I would love to stay in touch with you because I know with your spirit, your enthusiasm, and what you share with me right now, you're on your way to the top, and I want to be there when you need us. How's that sound? And that's a very, polite way of telling someone, keep doing what you're doing. If you need anything, we'll be here for you, and here are our free resources to help you along the way. So I just wanted to share that with the audience because it's all about ethics, when you get to certain numbers, because everybody wants to grow, everybody wants more, everybody's willing, like that has money in their pocket is willing to put it out, they're spending it on something, right? It's a matter of, do you ethically take it? And I think if you unethically take dollar after dollar after dollar, if you've seen anything that we've done, all money's not green. It creates a weight, I think, on the conscience. But I see Tia put something down here, so I'll go ahead and read it. I struggle with if the product produced will be effective for others, as I cannot transfer what's in me to others. I also struggle with putting a price to the experience and knowledge obtained this far as a love of life and living true to who I am. Not sure if I'm clear enough on the topic. Interesting. So I'm going to try to dissect this and turn it over to Junior as well, but I want to make sure we understand you right, Tia. So it sounds like you're saying the challenge you're having is transferring your feeling of conviction to the prospect because you don't know, in fact, if the product is going to work or not, because you're still building it. And you're also struggling with setting a nice high price on it because of your knowledge, maybe your competence. Is that what you're asking? Or are you asking me something else? Junior, do you have more clarity on this?
Yeah, I can answer that. So she says, I struggle with if the product produced will be effective for others, as I cannot transfer what is within me. So let's just dissect it. So Tia, so here, check this out. If you struggle with that, then most likely you just don't know. It's okay not to know. You just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we say marketing is a fancy word for research. So if you don't know, I would say give it away for free. Find a way to give it away for free. And then you'll know if it's effective. That's what I did. When I started, I gave away what I did for free. And I still do, to this day, I still do free stuff. I've never stopped, Bobby. I still help people out. And then, I don't necessarily charge them. I don't charge for everything I do, even if I should. And I'm not saying that you should, but, I just help people out all the time. But if you're not sure, give it away for free. Find a way to give it away for free. Of course, if you're in like an actual product-based business where you have costs incurred, for producing whatever you produce, then I would say, give away samples. So that's why we give away samples. Give away samples of your product, gather data, see if people like it, see if they don't like it, give them a feedback form after they try it. If you're doing a coaching business, run an accelerator program where instead of doing like 8 weeks, you do like 8 days, right? You do a mini version of it. And then at the end of the accelerator, you can give them a feedback form where they let you know what they like, what they don't like, what they think you can change, what they'd like to see, what they'd like to add, what they'd like to take away. What is the experience like for them? What value do they place on the experience? So I've done accelerator programs before, Bobby, and one of the questions I asked in my feedback form was, what value was this worth to your business? And then I put in a couple options. So I put in like 0 to 5K, 5K to 15K, 15K to 30K, 30K plus. And then I asked that question and I let people fill it out. And people will tell you what it's worth to them. And then that's how you go tier. You go based on data. So I would say find a way to give it away for free and then collect the feedback. Now she says, I also struggle with putting a price to the experience and knowledge obtained this thus far as a love of life and living true to who I am. Let me see if I can understand that. So she says, I also struggle with putting a price to the experience and knowledge. So she's saying the knowledge and experience she's gained thus far as a love of life and living true to who I am. Okay, so let's talk about price. How do you price something? Bobby, my my thing is I always try to do a price at 1/10 of the value. In other words, if I can help you generate 50K, to me, I have a right to charge you at least 5K. If I can help you generate 10K, I charge you 1K. If I can help you generate 100,000, you have to pay $1 million. That's the way it is. No, if you have to pay 10K, sorry. I multiplied there. Okay. But you guys get the point. So what I'm saying to you, Tia, is find out what value, in other words, what utility, value equals utility, meaning that if somebody uses your product, okay, what is the value, the monetary, if it's a kind of thing where you're helping them generate income, what is the monetary value that you're bringing to their business, either in the time that you save them or in the actual money that you can help them generate if they go through your steps. If you can confidently assess the situation and say, well, I can help somebody generate $100,000 if they go through my product or my program, you have a right to charge at least 10K for what you do. If you can confidently say that I can help somebody save, let's talk about time. If I could save somebody 100 hours, okay, what is 100 hours worth to them? And then you charge that, right? If you could create a phenomenal experience, what is that experience worth to them? And then you charge based on that. So that's how you price. So you price based on value, but I use a rule of 1 to 10. This means that if you buy something from me for $500, you're getting like $5,000 worth of value. That's what I do.
Yeah. And I think you also answered Dr. Michelle D. Clark's question with the experience piece. If they don't have a financial value to it, charge on the experience value, and that's another interesting thing without going too deep, because we did just hit the top of the hour. So I'll just give this one piece to you, Michelle. People, there's this thing called willingness to pay. Now I'm going to give you a very somewhat technical definition, but this is because you do have a unique situation in what you're selling. So there's this thing called willingness to pay. It's an economic concept that says people on the market are willing to pay this amount of money for it. Then you've got ATP, which is ability to pay, the amount of money people actually have to give for something. And then you have this last concept that we call market surplus. And what that means is Are you able to produce the experience at a profit? And are they able to purchase the experience at a discount? Now, what this means, and again, this is like technical finance and economics pricing, but because you're not able to just say, hey, this is the economic value of it, like this is how you actually price it economically and business wise from finance theory and finance execution. So you would say to yourself, it cost me $500 to produce the experience. Okay. And the prospect or avatar is willing to pay $1,500 for it. Now, what this tells us is that the market surplus is $2,000, meaning $2,000 is the amount of value, So if you were to charge them the whole 1,500 that they're willing to pay, then they would get no value, no discount, so to speak. They pay their max, and you would get a surplus of 1,000 because you're getting a return of $1,000 on top of the 500 that you've already recouped. So what you would normally do is you would figure out what they're willing to pay. You figure out what it would cost you to produce it, and then you would simply subtract to find out what a profit margin would be for you to consistently, one, grow your organization, and two, continue providing services. I know that was a bit technical, but that's like the actual through and through way that I would price something as a CFO in your situation.
Right. And I have a let me break that down because I'm not a CFO, all right? And I imagine that a lot of people are not, and they may need something that is a little bit more, rudimentary, like not so techy, right? So I would say another way to look at it, Dr. Michelle, find out what it costs you to produce the experience, like Bobby was saying. So in other words, I know you do retreats. So what did it cost you to actually do the retreat? And then you want to be able to charge, and that's per person, right? And then you want to be able to charge I would say between 3 to 5 times what it costs you to do the experience per person. So if it costs you $500 to produce per person, you're looking to charge between 1,500 to 2.5 for the experience. Anything between there, you should have enough money to pay for the experience for the person because you have to pay for them. Then you should have enough to pay for like business expenses, overhead, stuff like that, and keep a little bit of profit for yourself if you just use a 5x multiple. So you'll be able to pay staff, pay for that person, pay for the business expenses like CRM, software, because we don't think about those things when we do events and stuff like that. We don't think about that stuff. We think about like just, the event, but there's, your business has a CRM, your business has a website, your business has all of these other things that need to eat, right? And then after all of those things get fed, then you get a profit. So charge, anywhere between 3 to 5. If you can get 5 times, then you can never go wrong with 5, because five times what it costs you will allow you to pay for the experience. It will also allow you to pay for all of your other overhead and all of your expenses in your business with regards to that experience, and then you'll have a profit for yourself as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Junior. I love that. I love that approach too, and I'll share that one with more people because I definitely think a lot of people can resonate with that. 5x and push. 5x and keep it pushing.
That's what I do, man. If that's how it is. You can't go wrong because you could pay for ad spend. Because check this out, there's marketing involved. So you have to market the event. You have to pay for your CRM. You have to pay for the website where you market the event. You have to pay for the people that are coming to help you out. If you have people like staff and stuff like that, you have to pay to get them there. There's a lot of expenses that you don't even think about. I guarantee you, if you charge 5 times whatever it costs you to do for one person, you'll be able to cover all of that and then still have something for yourself.
Yeah. And once you've done that a few times, come see me and I'll show you what to do with the rest of it.
All right. All right, guys. So this has been a phenomenal conversation as usual. Listen, let me just make a quick announcement. So quick announcement, and you'll be hearing a lot about this next week. We're going to be having a webinar on May 17th. So look out for that. Look out in your emails. Look out on Shaan's social media profiles, and then you'll hear a lot more about that. Also, as a reminder, we will not be on Monday at 8. Like I said, I think I announced this earlier this week, on Thursday, I think. So no Breakfast with the Brand live on Monday. We will be playing a recording, so you guys can tune in and you could, look at it again. We say in my country, if it's nice, you have to do it twice and sometimes thrice. So we will be playing a recording for you at 8. But then we will be resuming live after that. So just be on the lookout. Again, thank you so much for being with us. This has been amazing as usual, and have a phenomenal day. Let's grow.